"You're not family in this wedding anymore." My mother said it so calmly, like she was discussing the weather. I stood frozen in the kitchen holding a stack of invitation envelopes while my younger sister, Brooke, smirked behind her champagne glass. "People will ask questions if you show up," she added. "We can't have another scene." Another scene? I had spent my whole life cleaning up their messes, paying bills when Dad lost jobs, babysitting Brooke's son while she partied in Miami, smiling through every insult at family dinners. But now, 2 weeks before the wedding, they wanted me gone. Then Dad slid an envelope across the counter. Inside was a one-way bus ticket to Chicago. "Take a break," he muttered. "It's better for everyone." That's when I realized something terrifying. They weren't just excluding me. They were hiding something. And whatever it was, had my name all over it. My name is Naomi Carter. I was the oldest daughter in a family that only celebrated the loudest people. And in our house, that was never me. We lived in Charlotte, North Carolina, in one of those polished suburban neighborhoods where everybody pretended their lives were perfect. My parents cared deeply about appearances, matching Christmas pajamas, country club memberships, fake smiles for church photos. Meanwhile, I worked double shifts at a downtown hotel just to keep my tiny apartment. Brooke, my younger sister, was the golden child. Blonde, loud, dramatic. The kind of woman who could crash her car drunk and still somehow become the victim. My parents adored her. "She's spirited," Mom always said whenever Brooke screamed at waiters or maxed out Dad's credit cards. Me? I was too sensitive. The family fixer. The one people called only when they needed money or favors. 3 years earlier, Brooke disappeared for almost 6 months after getting involved with some married real estate investor in Atlanta. During that time, guess who took care of her toddler son? Me. Who paid for daycare? Me. Who skipped work opportunities because Mom said, "Family comes first?" Also me. But none of that mattered once Brooke came back with a fake apology and a giant engagement ring from Ethan Holloway, a wealthy tech consultant from Charleston. Suddenly, she was a princess again. And the wedding became the center of the universe. Every conversation turned into flowers, dresses, venues, menus. Meanwhile, I started noticing strange things. Whenever I walked into a room, conversations stopped. My mom kept hiding paperwork whenever I came over. Dad wouldn't make eye contact with me anymore. At first, I thought maybe they were embarrassed because I couldn't afford expensive gifts or destination parties. But then something happened at Brooke's bridal shower. Something small, yet impossible to ignore. I arrived late after a 12-hour shift carrying the custom cake I had paid for myself. The room went silent. Not awkward silent. Panic silent. Brooke immediately stood up and blocked the hallway table behind her. Too fast. Way too fast. "Oh, you're here," she said nervously. My mother practically rushed toward me. "Naomi, sweetheart, why don't you put the cake in the kitchen?" Her voice sounded shaky. That's when I noticed a folder sitting half open behind Brooke's arm. And on top of it, a document with my name typed in bold letters. Naomi Carter. Before I could read more, Brooke slammed the folder shut. Dad grabbed it instantly. Nobody spoke. Nobody breathed. Then Brooke forced a smile. We were just discussing seating arrangements. I stared at them. Every instinct in my body screamed they were lying. But about what? That night I couldn't sleep. So around midnight, I did something I'd never done before. I drove back to my parents' house. And what I saw through the dining room window made my blood run cold. The dining room lights were still on. I crouched behind Mom's hydrangea bushes, staring through the window like a stranger spying on her own family. Dad sat at the table with papers spread everywhere. Brooke looked furious. And Ethan looked nervous. Then I heard my name. "She cannot find out before the wedding," Brooke snapped. Mom rubbed her temples. "After the honeymoon, we'll deal with it." Deal with what? Dad suddenly pulled out a folder. The same one from the bridal shower. And this time I saw the title clearly. Property Transfer Agreement. My stomach tightened. The address listed underneath was my apartment building. I froze. That building had belonged to my grandmother before she died. She promised it would eventually become mine. But according to the papers sitting on that table, ownership was being transferred to Brooke. Quietly, without me knowing. I accidentally stepped on a branch. Crack. For heads turned instantly. Dad stormed outside first. When he saw me, his face went pale. "Naomi," he barked. "What are you doing here?" I walked past him into the house. "What are you doing with Grandma's property?" Silence. Brooke folded her arms dramatically. "Oh my God, are you spying on us now? Answer me." Mom avoided my eyes. "That told me everything." "You lied to me," I whispered. Brooke laughed coldly. "Please. Grandma changed her mind before she died." "That's not true." "Actually," Ethan interrupted quietly, "maybe we should explain." "Stay out of it," Brooke snapped at him. Then she turned back toward me with that cruel smile I'd hated since childhood. "You really thought Grandma would leave a whole building to you? A hotel receptionist." The words hit like a slap. Dad sighed heavily. "Naomi, Brooke and Ethan need the property more. They're starting a family." I stared at him in disbelief. "I paid Grandma's medical bills for 2 years. And we appreciate that," Mom said softly. "But Brooke's future matters too." My chest burned. Everything I sacrificed, everything I gave them, none of it mattered. Then Brooke delivered the final humiliation. "You know what?" she smirked. "Maybe it's better if you don't come to the wedding after all." And the worst part? Nobody defended me. I don't even remember driving home. One minute I was standing in my parents' dining room trying not to cry. The next I was sitting in my apartment parking lot at 2 a.m., gripping the steering wheel so hard my hands hurt. I kept hearing Brooke's voice in my head. A hotel receptionist. Like my entire life could be reduced to a job title. Like the years I spent sacrificing everything for this family meant nothing. The next morning got worse. Way worse. My phone exploded with messages. Not from my parents. Not from Dad. From relatives. Apparently Brooke had already started telling people I was jealous of her wedding and causing drama over Grandma's estate. My aunt texted, "You should be ashamed ruining your sister's big moment." Then my cousin posted a photo from the bridal shower online. Everyone was smiling. Except me. The caption read, "Some people just can't stand seeing others happy." Thousands of reactions. Comments pouring in. Bitter sister vibes. "She looks unstable, honestly." I felt sick. Brooke wasn't just pushing me out of the family. She was destroying my reputation before I could even defend myself. By Friday, Mom finally called. Not to apologize. To warn me. "Naomi, don't come to the wedding tomorrow. Brooke's emotional right now." I laughed bitterly. "She stole Grandma's property." Mom lowered her voice. "You don't understand the whole situation." "Then explain it." Long silence. Then she whispered something that made my stomach drop. "If certain things come out, this family could fall apart." The line went dead. I sat there staring at my phone. What things? What were they hiding so desperately that they'd destroy me to protect it? The morning of the wedding, I packed a suitcase. Not because I planned to leave forever, but because I couldn't breathe in Charlotte anymore. Everywhere I went, people stared, whispered, judged. I was halfway to the airport when my phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. "Naomi?" An older woman's voice asked nervously. "This is Evelyn, your grandmother's attorney." I nearly slammed the brakes. "What?" "There are documents you need to see immediately." An hour later, I sat inside a small law office downtown, while Evelyn placed a sealed envelope in front of me. My grandmother's handwriting covered the front. "For Naomi only." My hand shook opening it. Inside was a letter, and a flash drive. The letter was short. Painfully short. "Naomi, if your parents try to keep you away after I'm gone, it means they finally did what I feared. Don't trust Brooke. And don't trust the story about your father." I stopped breathing. Evelyn looked at me carefully. "Your grandmother asked me to wait until after the property transfer started." "What story?" I whispered. She hesitated, then slowly slid another paper across the desk. A DNA test. My eyes dropped to the result line. Paternal match. 0%. Dad wasn't my biological father. And suddenly every cruel thing in my childhood started making horrifying sense. I didn't go to the airport. I went to the wedding. The ceremony was already starting when I walked into the country club ballroom. Every head turned. Brooke's smile vanished instantly. Mom looked like she'd seen a ghost. And Dad? He went completely pale. Naomi, he hissed, rushing toward me. What are you doing here? I held up the flash drive, finishing the lie. The room fell silent. Ethan stepped forward slowly. What's going on? I looked directly at him. You should ask your fiancée why she forged property documents, and why my parents helped her. Brooke laughed nervously. She's having another breakdown. But this time, I was ready. Evelyn entered behind me carrying copies of the real will. Not the forged one. The real one. My grandmother had left the apartment building entirely to me, along with a letter explaining everything. 26 years earlier, Mom had an affair. Dad stayed, but only on one condition. I would never inherit anything from the family. Not the house. Not the savings. Nothing. And Brooke knew. The entire time. Gasps spread across the ballroom. Dad tried grabbing the papers, but Ethan stopped him. You lied to all of us? Ethan asked quietly. Brooke panicked. Baby, listen. No, he snapped. You used me. Then came the final blow. Evelyn calmly revealed Brooke had already taken loans against the stolen property, using fake authorization signatures. Fraud. Real fraud. Right there in front of wedding guests, business partners, friends. Everything collapsed. Ethan took off his ring. I'm done. Brooke burst into tears. Mom begged me not to ruin the family. But I just stared at them calmly. They ruined it years ago. 3 months later, Brooke was facing criminal charges. Dad moved out. Mom stopped calling. And me? I renovated Grandma's apartment building myself. The same hotel receptionist they mocked became the owner they tried to erase. Funny how fast people respect you once their lies stop working.